A good life for me is being able to be independent, being able to do stuff on my own with a little bit of help.
And who would help you?
I have an aide that, her name is Janet Bauman, and she's worked for me now for going on 4 years in March.
And so what does she do that helps you?
She helps me go to the bank, make sure I get my groceries for the week. She also helps me grocery shop, and she makes sure I get healthy things.
For me, a good life, and this is a new one for me. I had gone all my life until about 2 years ago, where I had always wanted to have my own van, and I never thought I could get to a point where I could possibly afford a vehicle. But ever since I've had it, it's opened up many doors for me to be able to not only get out a little more into the community without having to fight with the local transportation system to get rides when I want to go. And I can give you a quick story. The very first thing that I did after I purchased my van a few years ago was to go out to Perry Lake. I had never been out there. And I've lived in Lawrence for almost 20 years now, and it was I'm a huge sports fan, so I've been to a lot of Royals games and different athletic events, and it's just opened it up so that all I had to do is get in my van and go. I don't have to worry about transferring in and out of other people's vehicles, and I don't drive, of course, and I don't want to. I'm dangerous, and so I let other people do that for me, but it's been great.
The good life for me looks like spending time with my wife, who also has a developmental disability. I am in a independent living program through Collingwood. They help me with groceries and go to the bank and cooking general household stuff. But also every weekend they take us out as a group.
Yes. The other thing I think with being self-directed is that you're able to hire and fire your own staff. You don't have to answer to anybody else unless you want to.
My name is Stephanie Sanford, and I like to believe that I've been a lifelong disability rights advocate. I was raised by a single mother who was blind at a time when, during the divorce, if the court said she couldn't have us, that was all there was to think about. We would have been given to our able-bodied parent. Probably the best decision the courts ever made was to leave me with my mother. And because of that, I really believe that I was raised differently. Because my mother, her entire life, built her supports around her, and beyond the fact that she couldn't drive, that was about the only limitation she ever placed on herself. And so I watched her struggle for years before the ADA was passed. I watched her fight not only for herself but for others, and as a result of her being a disability rights advocate, other people with disabilities were drawn towards her. And so I don't know anything else except independent living, and that means to me that people with disabilities should live wherever they want, however they are best able to live for themselves, and everyone deserves a chance at that. And yeah, it's that simple. It really is that simple. People make it very complex, but it really is that simple. People with disabilities just want and deserve to be treated just like everybody else. And if you can end a sentence like that, then you've done your job. Well, there's a lot of ways. I see not only my job, but my role in society. And so I think my job is to support people with disabilities and people with intellectual and developmental disabilities, and make certain that other people see their value, provide respect, and support the individuals with intellectual and developmental disabilities find the strength to be their own person.
So, in that role, what are the biggest challenges?
Other people. How about that?
Yeah. Can you elaborate on that a
Society.
little bit?
Yeah, because there is a perception, and you know, I advocate through T-shirts and a lot, and the T-shirt that I love the most and I wear the least because it offends most people is that your attitude is my biggest barrier. And that has been the biggest challenge. It's not finding talent in individuals. It's not finding jobs that they can do. It's finding people who will believe in people and remove their preconceived ideas of what someone can do simply because they have a disability. That's the biggest barrier, because I have expectations of treating every person as my equal. And I think there's a lot of people who can't do that and who don't. I think we have to be role models, and that I have to have expectations for people. I have to have expectations for individuals that I work with. I work with 4 self-advocates. And I'll be honest, it's the best place I've ever worked. Sometimes it's the most frustrating place I've ever worked. But I know that I have expectations for everyone who I supervise. And those expectations would be the same if they are self-advocates or whether they have a PhD. I have expectations for people. And I think, you know, that's one thing that parents especially and people in the social services can start thinking differently, that we should set expectations. The expectation of someone with an intellectual disability coming out of high school should not be to sit at home until their Social Security check comes in. It should not be to find the least amount of work so that you can be safe, you know, because that's not when I raised my daughter, that's not the way I raised my daughter. And I believe if we would actually have those same expectations, we'd go a long way.
Hi, I'm Carlin Moran. I live in Kansas City, Missouri. I am independent. I have my own cats, Tux and Boots. I've lived in my apartment for 16 years and have my own transportation.
Hi, I'm Carlin Moran. I'm Carlin's mother, and yes,
That's it?
that's it.
Okay. I'm Jim Moran. This is my wife Carlin and my daughter Carlin, Little Carlin. Used to call her Little Carlin. I'm a retired manufacturer's rep, and I currently drive a school bus.
To have my own privacy and have my own independence and driving and having the food pantry help me.
So, as parents, what things have you done to help support Carlin's vision of a good life?
Help her become independent as much as we possibly can. Help her have her own place, and help her strive to do all the things that she dreams of having and doing.
Oh, as far as learning disability, having a little autism, but I seem to strive and fight better for myself, to think that I don't have nothing wrong.
And who are the people that help you in your life?
I have my parents of support, and I have my friends of support.
Stephanie Coleman. I am the single mom of Matthew.
I'm Matthew,
And Matthew is,
21.
he's going to school right now at Johnson County Community College, and he works. I'm a recruiter by trade. However, I'm not doing that at the moment. I'm in a program called Leadership Education and Neurodevelopmental Disabilities. So learning a little bit more about that so I can be a better advocate for the disability world. A good life. Just any chance for him to live a fuller life, to be able to do the things that he wants to do. In the short period of time today, it would be, going to school, getting his education, working. He works part-time at a restaurant here. Spending time with his friends, being out in sports. Down years later, hopefully he'll have an education where he can become self-independent, live on his own. That's really where I want him to get to, is to living on his own, being able to make decisions for himself, being able to support himself independently. So what do you think the good life means to you? It's okay.
You pretty much said what it looked like.
Yeah, what do you like about what I said?
Everything.
Anything specific?
The sports.
You like to play sports?
Yes.
Which ones are your favorites?
Softball, soccer, basketball, golf, tennis, and not track and field.
So pretty much all of them except for the running, huh?
Yes.
All right.
And yet somehow all of them have to do with running except for golf.
Mm-hmm. But what about your future? You want to live on your own, right?
Yeah.
Make decisions for yourself?
Yeah.
I'm Christine Hardison. I'm a service coordinator for Platte County Board of Services for the developmentally disabled. I have a bachelor's degree in sociology from UMKC. I got into this field by taking a 12-credit PACE course that fit into my schedule, my work schedule, and it was on people with developmental disabilities, and that's where I got where I am. My role is to help them find the supports that they need, whether they be natural supports or paid supports, to live that good life. And it can be anywhere from getting them someone to come in the house a couple of times a week to group home services where they have round the clock staffing.
So when you're helping them do those things, so what are the challenges that you've encountered?
I think the biggest challenge is funding. A person has to have Medicaid in order to get funding in the state of Missouri for most services. So funding is always the biggest challenge.